class? Did you understand your lesson last week about factoring polynomials by the sum or the difference of two cubes? So I'm really hoping that you already mastered those ideas. Anyway, this week, you're going to study about factoring trinomials. My dear student, when we say trinomials, it is a polynomial that consists three terms, namely first term, middle term, and last term. This time, I will show you some examples on how to get the first term, the middle term, and the last term of the given trinomials. So without further ado, let's study this given example. This is an example of getting the first term of the trinomial. Let's say we have blank plus 12x plus 9. So, if you observe, the first term is blank. It is because it is our task to find the value for the first term. So, in order to get the value of the first term, our first step, we have to square root the last term. Again, square root the last term. Then the square root of 9 is 3. Am I right? Then, the middle term, this 12x, we simply get the half. Again, only get the half of the middle term. Only the coefficient, disregard the variable. So, the half of 12 is 6. You simply copy the variable or you just bring down the variable. Then, you have to divide this half of middle term by the square root of 9, which is 3. So, we have to divide this one by this number. So, 6 divided by 3 will give us 2. Simply copy the variable x. Then, we have to square this one. So, we have to have a square. Then, 2 square is 4. And x square is x square. And that is the first term of this given trinomial. Another. Let's say we have blank plus 36x squared plus 81. So again, in order to get the first term, first step, get the square root of the last term. So the square root of 81 is simply 9. Then get the half of the middle term, this 36. The half of 36 is 18. Then, simply copy the variable together with its exponent. So you have here x squared. Then, you have to divide 18 by 9. So divide this 18 by 9. 18 divided by 9 will give you 2. Simply copy the variable together with its exponent. So, last step is square this quotient. Remember, this is a quotient between these terms. So, you have to square this one. 2 squared will give you 4. X squared is x raised to 4. Remember, by using the laws of exponent, power of a power, because we have here a power, then another power. You simply multiply that one and you have 4. I hope this is clear. Now let's come to the middle term. Let's say we have 9x raised to 6 minus blank plus, let's say, 100. So, as what you see, the middle term is blank. That means we don't have a middle term, but we have to get the value. So, in order to get the value for the middle term, we simply square root the first term and square root the last term. Again, in order to get the value for the middle term, you just square root the first term and also square root the last term. So, square root of this one and the square root of this one. The square root of 9 will give you 3, and the square root of x raised to 6 is x raised to 3. Remember, in dealing with the exponent, you simply divide the exponent by the index. Our index in this square root is always 2. Since it is 2, that is why you don't have to write it because it is automatically that the index is 2. So we have here 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Alright, then this one. The square root of 100 is 10. Then, this case, you have to multiply. Again, multiply this one. 3 times 10 will give you 30. Am I right? 3 times 10 is 30. Then copy the variable together with the exponent x cubed. Then this 30, you have to multiply it again by 2. You have to multiply it by 2. Don't square. Just multiply by 2. So 30 times 2 is 60. Then copy the variable x cubed. So you have here 60x cubed. That's the value for the middle term. I hope this is clear. Another example. Let's say we have 400 y raised to 10 plus blank plus, let's say, 196. So again, in order to get the value for the middle term, you have to square root the first term and also square root the last term. So we have your square root here and also square root here. The square root of 400 is 20, then y raised to 10, or the square root of y raised to 10 is simply y raised to 5. Again, you have to divide. Again, you have to divide this 10 by 2. That is why you have 5. Then, the square root of 196 is 14. Then multiply. 20 times 14 is 280. Then copy the variable y raised to 5. Then again, you have to double this 280. 280 times 2 is 560 and copy y raised to 5. So you have now the value for the middle term. I hope this is clear. Now let's come to the last term of the trinomial. Let's say we have 9z raised to 10 plus 48z raised to 5 plus blank. So as what you observe, the last term is missing. It is because this is our task to find the value for the last term of the trinomial. So in order to find the value for the last term, we simply square root the first term and get the half of the middle term. So square root of this one, the square root of 9 is 3, then z raised to 5. Then the half of 48 is 24, copy z raised to 5. Then divide this one. You have to divide 24 by this square root of 9, z raised to 10. So divide this by 3, z raised to 5. So 24 divided by 3 is 8. Then z raised to 5 divided by z raised to 5 is cancel. That means z raised to 5 divided by itself, z raised to 5 is equal to 1. And if we have here 1, 8 times 1 is still 8. So that's why you don't have to do it. So we have here now 8. Then this 8, we have to square this one. 8 squared is 64. So we have here 64. And that is the value for the last term. I hope this is clear. Another example. Let's say we have 16b raised to 8 plus 64b raised to 4 plus blank. So again, in order to find the value for the last term, square root the first term and get the half of the middle term. So square root this one. Square root of 16b raised to 8 is 4b raised to 4. Am I right? The square root of 16 is 4. The square root of b raised to 8 is b raised to 4. Simply divide the exponent by 2. Then, the half of the 64 is 32. Then just copy the variable together the exponent, or simply bring down this one. Then divide. You have to divide this 32b raised to 4 by this 4b raised to 4. So divide this one by 4b raised to 4. 32 divided by 4 will give you 8. Then b raised to 4 divided by b raised to 4 is simply 1, and we don't have to write it. So we have here 8. Then we simply square also this one, and 8 squared is also 64. And that is the answer for the last term. I hope this is clear. So, do you know how to get the first term, the last term, or the middle term of the given trinomials? Very well. Now let's come to factoring trinomials. To explain further about this, let's study this given example. This is an example for factoring trinomial. Let's say we have x raised to 6 minus 25x cubed plus 100. So now, in getting the factor of this given trinomial, we always have to check for the coefficient of the term with the highest exponent. Again, always check for the coefficient of the term with the highest exponent. So from this given, the highest exponent is 6. Since we have no coefficient here, so automatic that it has 1. Then, if the coefficient of the term with the highest degree is only 1, then it is very easy to find the factors. It is because we only focus on the factor of the given constant. So we have to get the possible factors of this positive 100. So first we can say 10 times 10. Is it 100? Yes, then 25 times 4 is still a 100. 20 times 5 is also 100. 50 times 2 is also 100. Then now, is there another factors aside from these given factors? Yes. We can say negative 10 times negative 10 is also positive 100. Am I right? So we can say negative 25 times negative 4 is also positive 100. The same with this one, negative 20 times negative 5 is also positive 100. And negative 50 times negative 2. Then, after getting all the factors of the constant, the next thing that we must do is to find the sum of these factors, which is equal to the coefficient of the middle term. So from this given, our middle term is negative 25x cubed. But we only just focus into the coefficient, only the number, do not include the variable. So we have here negative 25. So that means we have to find the factors that the sum is equal to this coefficient negative 25. So let's add. Do not multiply. 10 plus 10 is positive 20. But our target is negative, so this is not the required factor. How about 25 plus 4 is 29? But this is negative 25, so that is not equal. So we cross that factor. Then 20 plus 5 is 25, automatically not equal to negative 25. Then 50 plus 2 is 52, automatically not negative 25. How about this one? Negative 10 plus negative 10 is negative 20. But our target is negative 25, so we cross that one. Negative 25 plus negative 4 is negative 29, so automatic, that is not the required. Negative 20 plus negative 5 is negative 25. Negative 25 is equal to negative 25, our coefficient here. So therefore, this is the factors that what we are looking for. So remember, we have negative 20 and negative 5. So in order to get the factor, we have to square root the first term. The square root of x raised to 6 is x cubed. So we have here x cubed. Then, for the last term of each factor, we use these two factors of 100. We have here negative 20, so we just write here minus 20. And to the other, we have the negative 5, so we just write here negative 5. And this is the factor of this given trinomial. So I hope this is clear. Another example. Let's say we have x raised to 4 plus 7x squared plus 12. So again, the coefficient of the term with the highest degree is simply 1. So we just focus to the factors of the constant 12. So again, the factor of 12 is 12 times 1. Am I right? 4 times 3, 6 times 2. Then aside of this factor, we can say negative 12 times negative 1 is still positive 12. Negative 4 times negative 3 is also positive 12. Negative 6 times negative 2 is also a positive 12. So now, we have to get the sum of these factors, which is equal to the coefficient 7. Our target is the coefficient of the middle term. So let's add. 12 plus 1 is 13, automatic, not a required factor. 4 plus 3 is equal to positive 7. And this is the coefficient that what we are looking for. So this is automatically the correct factor. So again, you have to square root the first term. The square root of x raised to 4 is x squared. Am I right? The square root of this one, you simply divide the exponent by 2. So that is 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Then, for the other factor, always have the x squared. Then, for the last term for each factor, we use the factor of the constant. We have here positive 4, so we have here plus 4. And we have here positive 3, so we just write here plus 3. And this is the factor of this given trinomial. This is our answer. I hope this is clear. So, it is very easy to factor the given trinomials if the coefficient of the first term or the coefficient of the quadratic term is only 1. We just simply focus on the factors of the constant. And then from that factors, we add the sum must be the middle term of the given trinomials. Am I right? How about if the coefficient of the quadratic term or the first term is greater than 1? Let's try this example. Let's say we have 81 y raised to 10 minus 54 y raised to 5 minus 27. So in this case, if you observe, the coefficient of the term with the highest exponent is greater than 1, and we have here also the constant. In this case, you have to apply the idea of the trial and error method. So that means you have to be more patient in working this kind of problem. Okay? So you have to get the square root of the first term and then you get the factor of the last term. So for the square root of the first term, you simply write here the radical symbol. The square root of 81 is 9, and then the square root of y raised to 10 is y raised to 5. So you have the first term of each factor. You don't have the value for the second term. So you can use the factor of the constant. So the factor of 27 is 9 times 3. Am I right? Since it is negative 27, so that means one of the factor must be negative. So we can say here negative 9 times 3 or negative 3 times 9. They are both in negative 27. Then 27 times negative 1 or negative 27 times positive 1. Now, aside from these given factors, is there another factor of negative 27? I guess not. So again, we have to use the factor of this negative 27. Then let's use the FOIL method in order to check if we arrive with the given trinomial. Let's check this one. Negative 9 and positive 3. Then we use the FOIL method. So 9y raised to 5 times 9y raised to 5 is 81y raised to 10. This is our first term. Then 9y raised to 5 times positive 3 is positive 27y raised to 5. Then negative 9 times 9y raised to 5 is negative 81y raised to 5. Then negative 9 times 3 is negative 27. Then we had to combine the like terms. The like terms are those terms with the same exponent and the same variable. So from this given, we have here y and the same exponent. So they are like terms. So we can combine the coefficient. So let's combine. Negative 81 plus 27 will give us negative 54. So we have here 81 y raised to 10 minus 54 y raised to 5. Then just copy negative 27. And observe, this given trinomial is our problem. So therefore, this factor is the correct one for this example. So automatically, this is the correct answer. Sometimes the first factor that we use is not the appropriate one. That means we have to use another factors of the constant. Then let's use the FOIL method again in order to check if this factor is the correct one for the given problem. Another example. Let's say we have 4x squared plus 8x plus 4. So now, observe the given trinomial. The first term is perfect square number and also the constant or the last term is a perfect square number. Therefore, we can use the idea in getting the middle term. Again, we can use the idea in getting the middle term of the trinomial. So, in getting the middle term, we simply square root the first term, square root the last term. Then we multiply the answer, then we double, and we have now the middle term. Am I right? So, the square root of 4x squared is simply 2x. Then the square root of 4 is 2. Then we multiply. 2x times 2 is 4x. Then we doubled, meaning we multiply it again by 2, not 2 square. So 4x times 2 is 8x, and we have our middle term. So this means the square root of these two terms, meaning the first term and the last term, is the factor of this given trinomial. So we have here, again, the square root of this is 2x, and then the square root of this is 2, so we have here plus 2. Then we simply copy this for the other factor. So 2x plus 2. And this is the factor of this given trinomial. But you have to be careful because sometimes this process doesn't work to other problem. Even though the first term is a perfect square and also the last term is a perfect square. What I'm trying to tell you is if that happens, you have to undergo the same as what we did to the previous example. I hope this is clear. Another example. Let's say we have a raised to 4 plus 3a squared b minus 18b squared. So by observing the given trinomial, it has two variables, a and b. So just ignore the given trinomial, just focus the idea in such a way that you will not be get confused. So our first step is to get the square root the first term. So the square root of a raised to 4 is a square. And that is our first term of the factors. Then for the last term, we use the factor of the last term, which is negative 18b squared. So we have to get the factor of negative 18. That is negative 6 times 3. Am I right? Negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. But we have here b squared, so we have here, just write b. b times b is b squared. Then another, we can say negative 3b times positive 6b. Then negative 9b times 2b. Then negative 2b times 9b. Then negative 18b times b. Am I right? Negative 18b times b is negative 18b squared. Then negative b times positive 18b. So these are the factors of negative 18b squared. So the last thing that we must do again is to find the sum of this factor which is equal to the given middle term. This time you have to ignore the a squared. It is because from the factors we don't have a variable a. We just use the variable b. So again, just ignore a squared. Our target is positive 3b. Is our target. So let's add. We just take first the coefficient. We have to disregard the variable. Okay? Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3. Then we just copy the common variable b. So, our target is positive 3b, but we have here negative 3b. So, therefore, this is not the required one. Let's try the other factor. Negative 3 plus positive 6 is positive 3. Then, copy the variable b. Positive 3b is equal to our middle term 3b. So, therefore, this is our target. So, we use these two factors as our last term. So, we have here negative 3b, so we have here 3b. And positive 6b, so here plus 6b. If you have some doubt, let's check. We use the FOIL method. A squared times a squared is a raised to 4. Then a squared times 6b is positive 6a squared b. We just write the variable in order. That means we have to write the variable alphabetically. Then, negative 3b times a squared is negative 3a squared b. Then, negative 3b times 6b is negative 18b squared. Then, we have like terms. Am I right? We have here a squared b. So, therefore, we can combine the coefficient. So, in order to combine, we just only deal with the coefficient. Positive 6 minus 3 will give us positive 3. So, we copy a raised to 4. Then again, positive 6 minus 3 is positive 3. Then we copy the common variable a squared b. Then we just copy the last term, negative 18b squared. And if you observe, this given is equal to our problem. So therefore, our factor is correct. So this is the factors of the given problem. I hope this is clear. So you might check your answer if you have some doubt by using the FOIL method. And if your answer is the same to the given problem, then that means your factors is correct. Last example, let's say we have the quantity of a plus b squared minus 10 times the quantity of a plus b plus 25. So by looking at the given problem, you might say that it looks like a pretty hard to solve this problem. But again, just focus to the idea. So we always have to get the square root of the first term. So we have here square root this one. The square root of this ab square is simply cancel this one, a plus b. This is our first term for our factors. So our problem is this last term. So we just copy this one, a plus b. Now, to get the last term of the factors, we use the factor of 25. So we have here the factor of 25 is 5 times 5 or negative 5 times negative 5. And then negative 25 times negative 1 or positive 25 times 1. These are all factors of 25, but our target is the negative 10. Disregard the variable a plus b. Okay, so you have to ignore this one. So let's add. 5 plus 5 is positive 10, but our target is negative, so this is not the correct one. Negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10, so therefore this is the correct factor. So we have your negative 5, so just write your negative 5, then another we have your negative 5. This is the correct factor. Alright, let's check. The quantity of a plus b times the quantity of a plus b. So by using the FOIL method, so we can say a plus b squared. And that is our first term. Then the quantity of a plus b times negative 5 is simply negative 5 times the quantity of a plus b. Then negative 5 times the quantity of a plus b is simply negative 5 times the quantity of a plus b. Then negative 5 times negative 5 is positive 25. Then we simply combine these two terms because they are like terms. Am I right? They are a plus b and a plus b, so we can call them like terms. So we can combine. Again, in order to combine, we just dealing with the coefficient. So negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10. So we have here, we copy first this one, the quantity of a plus b squared. Then negative 5 plus negative 5 is negative 10. Then we copy the common variable, quantity a plus b. Then just copy the last term, positive 25. And if you observe, this expanded form is equal to the problem. So therefore, our factors is correct. Okay? So this is the correct factor of this given trinomial. I hope this is clear. So, can you now get the factors of the given trinomial? Well done! I guess it is now your turn to answer the exercises given on your module. And of course, the last but not the least, don't forget to answer your weekly test. I guess this is now the end of this video. Do your best, class. Use your prior knowledge and the knowledge that you have been learned from this video. Goodbye, class. Keep safe and God bless.